Hello friends, I am Mrs. Bharti Kamboj from Guru Nanak Girls College, Yamunanagar, Haryana, and today I am going to discuss Debye's theory of specific heat of solids. In my last lecture, I discussed Einstein's theory of specific heat and its limitations. Today we will discuss Debye's theory, which is an improvement upon Einstein's theory. The assumptions of this theory are that a solid consists of atoms and behaves as a continuous elastic body. Each atom in the solid is under the influence of the neighboring atoms which are vibrating, and therefore the atoms are coupled together and the vibrations are not independent of each other, thus giving rise to standing elastic waves. जो एक सॉलिड के एटम्स अपनी मीन पोजीशन के अराउंड वाइब्रेट करते हैं, वो वाइब्रेशंस एक दूसरे से इंडिपेंडेंट नहीं है, क्योंकि हर एटम चारों तरफ से और कई एटम से घिरा हुआ है, इसलिए ये सारी वाइब्रेशंस आपस में कपल्ड हैं, एंड ये कपल्ड वाइब्रेशंस दे गिव राइज टू elastic waves which are standing waves. Therefore, they are capable of producing a large number of frequencies, a spectrum of frequencies, and it is assumed that the internal energy of the solid resides in these elastic standing waves which are being produced due to the vibrations of atoms about their mean position. The energy of these elastic waves is quantized just like electromagnetic waves. जिस तरह electromagnetic waves quantized होती हैं, बिल्कुल उसी तरह ये elastic standing waves भी solid के अंदर quantized होती हैं, continuous mode नहीं होता इनका. A quantum of vibrational energy is known as a phonon, just like अ फोटोन. जिस तरह इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी का एक क्वांटम फोटोन कहलाता है, बिल्कुल उसी तरह इलास्टिक स्टैंडिंग वेव्स का एक क्वांटम फोनोन कहलाता है, एंड इट ट्रेवल्स इनसाइड द सॉलिड with a velocity v, which is the same as velocity of sound. Why? Because sound waves are also elastic waves. And just like a photon, the energy of a phonon is given by E equal to h nu, where nu is the frequency of the wave, elastic wave, which is traveling inside the solid. These elastic standing waves have two types of modes of vibrations. Longitudinal mode, we will call it L, and transverse mode, we will call it T, having velocity VL and VT. What is longitudinal wave? What is transverse wave? A longitudinal wave is that in which the direction of propagation of the wave is the same as direction of vibration of the particles, whereas a transverse wave is that wave in which direction of propagation is perpendicular to the direction of vibration of the particles. The number of vibrational modes of any kind in the frequency range nu and nu plus d nu is given by z nu d nu equal to 4 pi v upon v cube nu square t nu, where z nu is the number of vibrational modes per unit frequency range, also known as density of states. V is the volume of the solid and small v is the velocity of the sound wave through the medium. इस फॉर्मूले को हम इस तरह समझ सकते हैं. लास्ट यूनिट जब हम क्वांटम स्टैटिस्टिक्स पढ़ रहे थे तो हमने डिराइव किया था नंबर ऑफ सेल्स इन फेज स्पेस corresponding to momentum interval between p and p plus dp is given by gp/dp is equal to 4 pi v p square dp upon h cube. Now here in case of phonons, the momentum of the phonon similar to a photon is given by E upon velocity v, that is h nu upon v, and therefore dp equal to h d nu upon v. Let us put these values in this formula of Gp and we get G nu d nu, that is Z nu d nu, is equal to 4 pi v upon h cube. P square की वैल्यू पुट की h nu upon v whole square, dp की वैल्यू पुट की h upon v d nu, and this is equal to 4 pi v upon v cube nu square d nu. This gives us number of cells in phase space or number of vibrational modes between the frequency interval nu and nu plus d nu. The elastic standing waves produced inside the solid due to vibrations of the particles of the solid can be transverse as well as longitudinal in nature. Just to remind, transverse waves are those in which direction of vibration of the particles is perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave, whereas in longitudinal wave, the direction of vibration of the particles is the same as the direction of propagation of the wave. And therefore, transverse wave has two independent components, whereas longitudinal waves will have only one component. For example, if the direction of vibration of the particles is along x direction, then the wave traveling along x direction will be longitudinal, whereas the waves traveling along y and z direction, since they are normal to x direction, they will be transverse. Hence, one longitudinal mode and two transverse mode, and all these modes, three modes, are independent of each other. Thus, the number of vibrational modes between frequency nu and nu plus d nu, that is Z nu d nu, is now written as 4 pi v upon vl cube nu square d nu plus 2 into 4 pi v upon vt cube nu square d nu. We have written these two separate components for one longitudinal mode and two transverse modes. This is equal to 4 pi v 1 upon vl cube plus 2 upon vt cube nu square d nu. Debye further assumed that the total number of modes of vibrations is 3n, where n is the number of particles in 1 mole of the solid and 3 is for 3 different modes of vibrations. So he put a maximum limit to the number of modes of vibrations, which is equal to 3 into n. All these modes have different frequencies and energies up to a maximum frequency nu d. He also put an upper limit to the frequency of vibrations of these particles. This upper limit or the maximum frequency is known as Debye's frequency, which is same in both longitudinal as well as transverse modes, because the total numbers of frequencies cannot be more than 3n. It must be equal to 3n. This assumption is known as Debye's approximation. The total number of vibrational modes in a crystal can be obtained by integrating Z nu d nu within the limits 0 to nu d, and Debye's frequency nu d can be calculated from this expression by putting it equal to 1. If you remember, Z nu d nu, we had defined it to be equal to be the number of modes of vibrations between the frequency range nu and nu plus d nu. So if we integrate it between all the frequencies, for all the frequencies between the limits 0 to some maximum nu d, then this will give us all the modes of vibrations, which must be equal to 3n. So this is Debye's approximation. Let us put this value of Z nu d nu in the above integral. So we get Integration 0 to nu d 4 pi v 1 upon vl cube plus 2 upon vt cube nu square d nu equal to 3n. Since these factors are constant, so we take them out of the integral sign. So it is 4 pi v 1 upon vl cube plus 2 upon vt cube integral from 0 to nu d nu square d nu equal to 3n. We will integrate nu square, the integration is nu cube upon 3, and then we put the limits from 0 to nu d, so we get 4 pi v 1 upon vl cube plus 2 upon vt cube nu d cube upon 3 equal to 3n, and now this gives us the value of Debye's frequency nu d, which we had defined earlier. The maximum limit to all the frequencies nu d cube is equal to 9n upon 4 pi v 1 upon vl cube plus 2 upon vt cube raised to power minus 1. Now, Debye further assumed that the phonon gas behaves just like a boson gas, similar to photons, and therefore the average energy per mode of vibration is given by the expression that we obtained for bosons, that is, average energy per mode of vibration is h nu upon e raised to power h nu minus kt minus 1. Therefore, the internal energy of the solid, the total energy of the solid, must be equal to the total energy of all the modes of vibrations. Since the number of modes of vibrations is 3n, so the total energy is 3n into average energy of one mode. Then we put the value of 3n, and this is equal to integration from 0 to nu d average energy epsilon z nu d nu, and now we will put the value of z nu. So this is equal to 0 to nu d integration 4 pi v 1 upon vl cube plus 2 upon vt cube nu square h nu by e raised to power h nu by kt minus 1 d nu. We take these constant terms outside the integral and get this expression for E. We derived this equation earlier, equation number 2, 4 pi v 1 upon vl cube plus 2 upon vt cube nu d cube upon 3 equal to 3n. So we substitute, this equation gives us 4 pi v into 1 upon vl cube plus 2 upon vt cube bracket closed is equal to, we cross multiply, take this 3 towards the other side of the equal to sign, so 9n upon nu d cube, and we substitute for this expression in the integral that we had in the expression for E. So E is equal to 9n upon nu d cube integration from 0 to nu d h nu cube upon e raised to power h nu by kt minus 1 d nu, and let us call it equation 3. We will be using it in the coming slides. Therefore, the molar specific heat is given by, just to remind you, molar specific heat is the specific heat for 1 mole of the substance. Cv is obtained by differentiating the total energy of the solid curly E by curly T. V at constant volume V is equal to curly by curly T. Let us put the value of E from equation 3, and this is equal to 9n upon nu d cube integration from 0 to nu d. We will differentiate with respect to temperature, and it is h nu cube e raised to power h nu by kt upon e raised to power h nu by kt minus 1 whole square h nu by kt square d nu. And then we solve it further, or Cv is equal to 9nk upon nu d cube integration from 0 to nu d e raised to power h nu kt nu square upon e raised to power h nu kt minus 1 whole square h nu by kt whole square d nu. If you go to the last slide, you will see that we have combined h nu by kt, and since there was only one k in the denominator, we have multiplied and divided by k, so we have another k here. Now let us put x is equal to h nu by kt, so this will become x, this will become x, and here also it will be x. So if we put x equal to h nu by kt, then nu is equal to kt x by h and d nu equal to kt dx by h, and therefore specific heat at constant volume Cv is equal to 9nk upon nu d cube integration from 0 to xd, where xd will be equal to h nu d upon kt. So this integration of e raised to power x upon e raised to power x minus 1 whole square. Let us put the value of nu ktx by h square and the value of d nu x square into kt dx by h, and this gives us Cv equal to 9nk upon nu d cube integration 0 to xd e raised to power x, x raised to power 4 upon e raised to power x minus 1 whole square kt by h cube into dx, and it is further simplified to 9nk kt upon h nu d whole cube integration e raised to power x, x raised to power 4 e raised to power x minus 1 whole square into dx. So from my last page we had Cv equal to this expression. Let us here put theta d equal to h nu d by k. Therefore xd is equal to h nu d upon kt, that is equal to theta d by t. When we make this substitution, then the specific heat at constant volume Cv is equal to 9nk T by theta d whole cube integration from 0 to theta d by t e raised to power x, x raised to power 4 e raised to power x minus 1 whole square dx, or Cv can be written as equal to 3r into Fd theta d by t, where R is the universal gas constant, N into K, N is 1 mole of the solid, K is Boltzmann constant, and Fd is known as Debye's function. Fd is equal to 3 t by theta d raised to power 4 integration from 0 to theta d by t e raised to power x, x raised to power 4 upon e raised to power x minus 1 whole square into dx. Now let us come to the special cases. In the very high temperature range and very low temperature range, the internal energy as we derived in equation 3 was E equal to 9n upon nu d cube integration from 0 to nu d h nu cube upon e raised to power nu h nu by kt minus 1 d nu. This was equation 3. We derived it earlier, and these are the substitutions we had made. So using these substitutions, we have E equal to 9n upon nu d cube integration from 0 to nu d h upon e raised to power x minus 1 ktx by h whole cube kt dx by h, and this is equal to 9n kt by h nu d whole cube integration x cube upon e raised to power x minus 1 dx equal to 9n t upon theta d whole cube integration x cube upon e raised to power x minus 1 dx, or E equal to 9n 1 upon xd whole cube integration from 0 to xd x cube by e raised to power x minus 1 dx. So case 1, when the temperature is very high, when T is very large as compared to theta d, then x, which is equal to h nu by kt, must be very small as compared to 1. Then we can expand e raised to power x minus 1 as 1 plus x, and so on minus 1, that is approximately equal to x, and therefore E is equal to 9 nkt 1 upon xt whole cube integration x cube upon x dx, that is 9 nkt 1 upon xt cube integration x square dx, and when we integrate it, this integration gives us xd cube upon 3, xd cube gets cancelled, this is equal to 3 nkt, and therefore the molar specific heat in the very high temperature range is Cv equal to curly E by curly T. We will differentiate this, and this is equal to 3 nk, that is 3R. So we find Debye theory also gives us the same classical result which was obtained using Dulong-Petit's law and Einstein's theory at high temperatures. Physically, it means that at high temperatures, quantum concepts, they become irrelevant. When the temperatures are very low, when the temperature T is very small as compared to theta D, then xd, which was equal to theta D upon T, approaches infinity, and therefore the total energy of the solid is equal to 9 nkt T upon theta D whole cube integral from 0 to infinity x cube upon e raised to power x minus 1 dx. Now this integral is equal to pi raised to power 4 by 15. It has a standard value where this function 6 zeta 4 is known as Riemann zeta function, and it is a standard function having value this. Therefore, E is equal to 9 nkt T upon theta D whole cube pi raised to power 4 by 15 equal to 3 by 5 pi raised to power 4 nk T raised to power 4 by theta D whole cube. Therefore, molar specific heat is obtained by differentiating the expression that we obtained for energy Cv equal to curly E by curly T, that is curly by curly T of 3 by 5 pi raised to power 4 nk T raised to power 4 by theta D cube, or it is equal to, we differentiate it, we obtain 12 upon 5 pi raised to power 4 nk T cube upon theta D cube. We put the value of pi and we get Cv equal to 77.94 into 3R T upon theta D, where R is n into k and theta D is Debye's temperature. It is a constant. Therefore, specific heat is directly proportional to T cube. Therefore, we find that the molar specific heat is directly proportional to the cube of absolute temperature in the very low temperature range, and this is the famous Debye's T cube law. Now let us discuss the result. We derived that at very high temperatures, the specific heat of the solid is a constant which is equal to 3R. That is what we had experimentally, and that is what we had seen in Dulong-Petit's law and Einstein's theory. In the very low temperature range, the specific heat obeys a T cube law, and it is in good agreement with the experimental data. Theta D is constant for substances at low temperatures. We also notice that this law is similar to Stephen's law of black body radiations. The photons and phonons obey the same statistics, with the difference that photons obey T cube law at low temperatures, while photons obey T raised to power 4 law at all temperatures. Next, let us come to the limitations of Debye model. In spite of the great success of this theory, the specific heat shows certain deviations in the very low temperature region. The T cube law does not always hold good for temperatures which are less than 0.1 theta D. The value of theta T calculated at different temperatures from the observed heat capacity at low temperatures is not constant. These limitations are explained in the following manner. The Debye model assumes only low frequencies are active. If you remember, Debye had assumed that there is a maximum limit to the frequency of modes of vibration. So it assumes only low frequencies are active. It further assumes that the number of modes of vibrations are 3n, whereas an elastic continuum may possess infinite frequencies. Nu d is taken to be the same for longitudinal as well as transverse modes, which cannot be justified. And the contribution of the electrons has been ignored. Here we compare the results of Einstein's and Debye theory. When we plot the specific heats obtained from Debye theory and Einstein theory at different temperatures, we observe that Debye curve lies above the Einstein curve. Here the red curve is as predicted by Debye theory, whereas the blue curve is as predicted by Einstein theory. This is because in Debye's model, the lower frequency modes are taken into account, which have higher average energy and temperature derivatives at low temperatures as compared to the relatively high frequency Einstein's oscillator. Here in the graph, in this inset, we have shown the details of the behavior at low temperature. So, what do we conclude from this discussion? We see that Debye theory was very much successful in explaining the behavior of specific heat of solids at all the temperatures except the temperatures which were even smaller than 0.1 theta T. With that, we come to the end of this lecture. These are some of the frequently asked questions. Question number 1, explain Debye's theory of specific heat of solids. Question number 2, how was this law successful in explaining the specific heat of solids? Question number 3, compare Debye's theory with Einstein's theory of specific heat. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.